Hello everybody, welcome to another screencast for Reach the Skills 1. In this screencast I will show you how you get your data from Google Forms into SPSS, so you have something to work with. For this screencast I'm assuming you have made a Google Forms questionnaire and that you want to get the data from Google Forms into SPSS. So first of all, this is your Google Forms overview. Here you can see the several questionnaires that I already made, and let's say I want to use the data from this particular questionnaire. Some basic questions. This is what you're familiar with. This is what you've already seen. These are the questions that you ask, and you can edit those, etc., etc. Right now we're not interested in that. We are interested in the data. And the data we can find under responses, which is the tab over here. Then you can already see some univariate analyses, some overview from Google. It's free. It gives you some insight into your data already, but it's not to the degree of complexity that we want. So we need to analyze it in SPSS. In order to do that, we press this button. Now we get a spreadsheet, eventually, of the data. So here you can see all the results. The timestamp, when it was filled in, what the answers were on this question, what the answers were on that question, this question, etc., etc. What we do is we select all the data and then we copy paste it into Excel. If you copy paste it into Excel, you get the exact same data and it looks like this. What we need to do is change these words, like no and yes, into numbers, so SPSS can work with it. In order to do that, we're going to use a command that is holding down the Control button and the H button at the same time. So let me just type it out for you. Control plus H. That's what you hold down. Then you get this dialog box. You may be already familiar with the find command. There's also a replace command, which we're going to use. We're going to say, I need you to find all the yeses and replace them with ones. And then we press replace all, and you can see that all the instances of the word yes were replaced with a 1. The same goes for no. We're going to replace no with a 2. There we go. We have now changed all the yeses and nos to 1s and 2s. We do this so that SPSS can actually work with it. Well, there's more to change. We have male. We want to change that to a 1. And right now, you see I've made an error. Because you see that all the male parts of female have also been changed to a 1. So that now says fe1, which is not good. You can also see that we made the same error earlier when we asked to change all the no's to 2's. No is also a part of not, so it now says here prefer toot to say instead of prefer not to say. So you have to be really careful with what you're doing when you're using replace all. One way of preventing mistakes like this is to select a single column and then press the command. Right now it will search just within this column and change only the things in this column that actually meet the criteria you're using. This way you can prevent parts of words in other columns being replaced by your replace command. Another thing to consider is always use the bigger words, code the bigger words first, like female, and replace those with ones. Then it will not replace the males. Right now we can replace male with 2, and then we won't have these weird between forms. Another thing to consider is that you can copy the text if it's bothering you that you have to retype everything. You can just copy paste everything. It's especially useful when you have just long answers. Then you can copy paste everything into the find what bar and then more easily replace stuff. So right now we've changed all this. These are now all numbers, which is great. SPSS can work with them. We will select all these numbers and we will copy them and paste them into Excel. Don't use the headers. Don't use information that you're not interested in, like the timestamp is not really relevant for your analysis. And the headers will come later. So right now we're going to go to SPSS and open a new data set, like so. This is a new data set. We'll select this cell and then we will paste all the numbers, which we'll analyze later. You will see that all these variables have weird names. We're now going to change that. And we can do that in the variable view. So we look at this information. What are these questions about? Okay, they're about, have you seen a show? Orange is the new black. So we give it a name, seen, orange is the new black. And the next variable was, what's the grade for orange is the new black. The third variable was about Daredevil. This one as well. And this was gender. So all these variable types are numeric. That's good, because they're numbers. This is minor detail, not important. Decimals is not important. The values are important. So here we have 1s and 2s. 1 obviously is a yes, I've seen it. 2 is a no, I've not seen it. We're using these labels here, but we also use them over here, so we can just copy paste the values and move them over there. These grade variables were graded with 1 through 10, so we don't have to add all the values. We don't have to say a 1 is this, a 2 is this, a 3 is this, and a 10 is this. For gender, though, we need to also provide labels. If I remember correctly, I've coded females as 1, males as a 2, and prefer not to say as a 3. There we go. We've now added values. What we also can do is add the questions as the labels. So then when you're working on your data set later and you think, what does seen ONB mean? Seen orange is the new black. You can just look at the label and see the question that you asked to go with this variable. Last thing we need to fix is the measurement level. Yes and no is obviously nominal. It's just categories. The same goes for this one. And gender is also nominal. Grades are a scale. On a scale from 1 to 10. They are scale because they are interval. Interval because they're different categories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can order them. There's a hierarchy in it. 10 is higher than 1. And the difference between two grades is always the same. The interval is consistent. The difference between 5 and 6 is the same as the difference between 3 and 2. So, right now we've imported data into SPSS from Google Forms, and everything is going to work nicely if we order up a particular analysis. See? Good luck with your own dataset.